beautiful, loving and free. Getting busy with B, getting busy with me. I'm too busy being beautiful. Getting busy with B, getting busy with me. I'm too busy being beautiful, loving and free. So I had to hit that note. Okay, first of all, guys, you know what today is. It is Buzy With B Mondays. I'm always excited when I do the show, but this show, a lot has been going on. So we're gonna talk the Black Lives Matter movement. We're gonna talk the protesting. Who knows what's gonna come up? I want to talk a little bit of police reform, but guess what? I'm not gonna do a lot of the talking because I'm gonna let my guests begin to introduce themselves. We're gonna start right here. Okay, we gonna no we. You trying to go live? He had all this time to go live, guys. But we're gonna start right here. To my left, introduce yourself. Give us a little bit about your background.
All right. Well, that's easy enough. My name is Sean Drummond. I'm a local realtor here in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. I moved here about 10 years ago from St. Louis, Missouri, and I love it. It's a great place to live, and that's my favorite place to be right now.
Introduce yourself, please, Dave.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, I got it. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Dr. David Venable. I've been here before. I'm a resident of Ward 8, a product of Ward 8. I'm happy to be here always. We'll start my schedule for Buzy B because she's the hottest thing in D.C.
Thank you.
Of course. And I'm glad to be with all of my brothers. I got so much history here.
It's so much history. We have a lot to talk about. And,
so exciting. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
Can we get down there? I don't know if my producer's set up for the whole studio. Right. I have so many people in the studio.
Do you want them all to have mics?
It would be nice if we have at least one mic down there, two mics, something. So
yeah. Right here.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. 4,
Appreciate
2,
you guys.
3.
As long as you pick it up.
So guys, I know you guys are seeing this live go down in the studio right now. We're setting up because we were running a little behind, but today we are going to talk everything Black Lives Matter, everything about the movement, and we're going to get some diverse background because we have a diverse group of people in here. You can't see them yet, but I got my man. He always shows up for me, the sixth man. He's in the building. He's very opinionated. I love his podcast, guys. So if you haven't checked it out, you need to check it out. I mean, he's so real. He say it. I may not say it like he says it, but it gets said. And we have, this podcast love of a relationship. So I'm grateful for him to join me in the studio. And I gotta let the other guests introduce themselves. I want the camera to be set up so you can kind of see everyone on camera, guys. So this is gonna be unorthodox because I'm not gonna talk as much. I'm gonna actually do a lot of listening today. I've been doing this for a while, so I learned a lot about myself. So I'm gonna do a lot of listening. I may even let Dave, take over the show. Kevin, take over the show because we need to talk about a lot of stuff that's going on.
Kevin's great with it, trust me.
Okay, and of course, it's loud right now because of everything that happened with George Floyd. I'm talking now. I'm trying to take up some time because I'm waiting for my producer to do his magic.
What do I need to do?
Can we see them?
There we go. Now I'm on now.
So how you do it? Then maybe I can do it.
I'm ready to follow it. And
everybody, come on in, share when you're coming.
Yeah. Who is that on the end? He came in a little late.
Me. Oh, my name is Arnell. I came in a little late.
Oh, you the okay? I know who you are.
Got it.
Yes. How you pull it up? Hook me up now.
Let me see.
Everybody, come on in and share.
So guys, I thought I wasn't talking. Alright, so here's the thing, guys.
Once I get set up. I can help you. I can help you once I get set up.
Yeah, let me see that.
Yes,
you go ahead.
I have experience to be here in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, we'll be flying back to Tampa tomorrow morning. But we have been to Black Lives Matter.
Okay, so
now we're at a radio station.
Hey, Kevin. I don't know how to do this, y'all. I'm trying.
Privileged to be able to talk about the state of where we are in America.
So, I'm sorry. I'm never like this. All right, here we go. I'm gonna put my phone down. So, guys, yeah. So, guys, I packed the studio today with a bunch of great guys. I want to go ahead and start over there. Introduce yourself to the audience. Little background about yourself.
Alright, how's everybody doing? My name is Arnell. I'm from Largo, Maryland. I grew up in Largo, Maryland. And throughout my life, I've always had a passion for fitness. And now I'm a certified personal trainer. And I want to get my name and my brand out there. But what's going on right now is we have to stick together as blacks because there's a lot going on now with the whole George Floyd situation. And right now, I just feel like we all have to like work together, like now more than ever, because we need each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm here for it, and I'm down to put down the work, whatever got to be done.
Introduce yourself, Pastor.
My name is Minister Ty Tanner. I just moved here to Maryland from Florida, and I moved here about a year ago, and I'm loving everything. I'm a local entrepreneur in the area, running a few businesses, got a beer line coming up. So I'm here, and I'm in a state where, I come from a state where black people didn't run the show, and I came here and I see we running everything, and I never left. And I came here, was supposed to be just for 1 week, and I never left. So I'm here for this time.
Oh, you came for 1 week.
Oh, I came here for 1 week and never went back home.
That black person live in that house?
Yeah, dude. Never seen it. So I'm glad to be here, man.
Thank you. Welcome to the Buzy With B show.
Thank you.
All right, the sixth man, introduce yourself.
I'm Kevin. I'm better known as the Sixth Man. I'm got my own podcast here in the DMV area called Real Talk with the Sixth Man. I also recently been named president of a new founding nonprofit. It's called Type DMV. The acronym means Teaching Youth Prosperity and Excellence. So I've been here on the show with Busy about I think it's about my fourth time. So I'm real comfortable. So whatever we want to talk about, and I hope I get a chance to let my voice be heard.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Pastor Elvis Piggott from Tampa, Florida. I'm here visiting and also just, taking the process of looking at the Black Lives Matter Boulevard Plaza.
Okay.
Enjoying that. Also a local politician down in Tampa running for school board in Tampa, Florida, and getting ready for the upcoming election. And this has been a very necessary topic, and as we use our hashtag in Tampa, interrupting racism.
Okay. Introduce yourself again, Sean.
Oh, okay.
Just briefly.
Sean Drummond, local realtor here in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. Lived here for about 10 years. Came from St. Louis out here with the military, so my background is as far and wide as you can possibly imagine. And being in real estate, you get to interact with people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different thoughts, cultures, ethnicities, and it's one of the most diverse. It is actually Fairfax County. I don't know if y'all know this, is the most diverse region in the entire country. So that's just over across the river in Virginia. So you'll see people from all walks of life in the DMV, and I think that's one of the coolest things about it.
Dave, introduce yourself. You ready?
I am Dr. David Venable. I'm a local pastor here, also a community activist. I'm from Ward 8, Southside. We started Wakanda. But anyway, yeah, I'm from Ward 8, D.C.
Wakanda forever.
Lucy High School, but I'm a pastor here. My ties are connected to so many people. My arms are long, all the way down to the last tape. I didn't know they won't be here, but I'm glad to be here with you. This is my second time here.
I'm excited.
And I'm excited as well.
I
you know how we did last time.
Yes,
we had a lot
you
of
know
stuff.
what? But it's not about you today.
Yeah, it's not. It's about you.
know,
I brought gas.
You know
so
what?
I thought I couldn't do it today.
Let me tell you, it's about us. You
Absolutely.
know, it's really
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
today. Is really about the black man.
I said that.
And I wanted Sean here. I don't have any. I'm not racist at all, but I don't have any white friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, Mike, how could we get a Caucasian on the show, right?
Absolutely.
And so I really just wanted a different perspective, and guys, not that this means anything, but he's married to an African American woman,
Let's go.
And
I am too.
Yeah.
Won't he do it? I am too.
And, my husband comes.
I am too. Won't he do it?
But I just really want to start. Let me just start right here with you.
Yes.
what does 2020 Black Lives Matter look like now to you? And you know, we've been going through this for years. This is not brand new. But I do feel like something about 2020 is different. So this question is going to go down the line. Let's start right here. And keep in mind that we have a full, you know.
No,
panel.
he's good. No, we're good.
talking about you.
You know, I'm good. You made me talk the whole time
I
last
did.
time. I'm good. I'm real short when I told him to come with because I don't want to talk too long.
Okay.
But 2020, I think that the message is really resonating now. Every message starts with a man, and even with women, at the end of one man is still a man. So it starts with us. And so the message that, and it's unfortunate what happened with George Floyd, but the message I think is really resonating now with Black Lives Matter. We've been going through it since Rodney King, before we had cameras and cell phones. But I think because of the divisive language that we have from the White House is really resonating. Today really blessed me, and I'm done. But today really blessed me. It's not no Baptist preacher thing. I'm done.
Okay.
But today really blessed me with NASCAR. NASCAR, I never even paid attention to NASCAR, them having the Confederate flag. I never paid attention to until they canceled it. Every NASCAR car and the NASCAR event had the Confederate flag. I never paid attention to it, but they canceled it. And the president of NASCAR said, if any history, noble history was there for the Confederate flag, it went away with all the lynching and all the civil rights when you hung your flag to hang black people. So to hear them saying, to hear NFL say, I think that now it's unfortunate, but George Floyd is our unsung hero. It's a quiet hero, and I hate to say it with maybe his family's listening, but he's a hero right now.
It's not new, you know,
it's not
because
new,
we have
but
so many heroes, and it's your effect is, you know, most of the time, you know, you think about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks, all the people that really had to give their lives and lose their lives. So I mean, I understand that and I respect that. I'm not going to talk as much, but I want to know your perception on the Black Lives Matter movement and just how you see it.
Yeah, so, you know, looking back, I think that this movement has been started for a few years now. You know, when you look back, you know, Ferguson is a central place from where I'm from. And when you look at the extrajudicial killing there, the movement and everything, we saw a big impact there in Ferguson. And I know from my time in St. Louis, you know, racist policing, things like that are happening there, even still to this day. It's still happening, right? And you have police that are not from the area coming in to try and control or keep people in line for areas they don't even live in, right? And that's a big problem, you know, because you look at people like they don't matter at that point. You have no real connection to them. There's no central movement, or there's no central coordination with the police and the community, and I think that's absolutely something that's needed. But Black Lives Matter in 2020, to me, I just see everybody taking note. Everybody's taking note.
Yeah.
And one of the first things that happened, it was just a few days after the killing of George Floyd, and I had went to my company, my leadership, within my organization, and I wanted them to take notice.
Awesome.
Because in real estate, you know, you look at real estate, in the history of real estate, there's a lot of racism and prejudice and, you know, creating a system that is unfair to minorities and people of color, right? And it is not a good system at all. And when you look at the wealth gap, a lot of that comes from owning a house, you know? So I'm really big on generational wealth. You know, if you can put something in place today that you can have for your family to build a legacy on, it's something that you're going to be able to carry forward. You're going to be able to give wealth to your children, who can then in turn give that wealth to their children, and it really just starts to build and grow. It is, and that's one of the ways to do it. But I think it's just a beautiful thing. I really do, and I think that we need more voices in this moment now than ever.
Okay.
Well, I believe in 2020, the Black Lives Matter movement is that forever they have had our attention. They've had our attention when it came down to the injustice with economic development. They've had our attention when it came down to the injustice of our school to prison pipeline in schools. They've had our attention when it came down to African American men being arrested at such high alarming numbers. But I believe in 2020, we now have their attention. I think collectively we've pulled together to allow them to understand that we will not stop. We will not take anything less than what we deserve.
Absolutely.
And we're now in a state where all eyes is on the movement. That we're now decreeing when the dust is settled that we want real action. The same way they had tangible impacts in our lives, that they have done things that made direct impact for the negative of many black lives. We now are decreeing and acting and will not stop until we get direct impact of positivity to black lives. And that's coming at the hand of George Floyd, but most of all, the unity of African Americans pulling with everyone to say, you either get on the ship or you get ran over.
You with me or you
that's
against
it.
me? And
That's all.
Before we go to Kevin, I just want to add, this is one time that I am so proud of just, we look like one race. I mean, yes, it's bad apples
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely.
But for the first time that I've seen, and I wanted, because I know Kevin gonna elaborate on it. But what I'm saying is, for one time, you know, we are not labeled as black, white, Caucasian, Asian. I mean, you can see China. They in China.
We're
Black
people.
Lives Matter.
We're people.
And so for the first time, I just see us all as one.
Right.
And I pass the mic to the sixth man.
Six man.
I just had to
My
add
God.
that.
So 2020 Black Lives Matter movement isn't anything new. I would hate to burst everybody's bubble, but you know, this has been going on for a long time. I mean, we you know, DJ said that it started with, you know, back in 1991 with Rodney King, and you know, even the I believe it was the governor of New York who came out and said that was 30 years ago. You know, I mean, here it is.
Right.
This is a white man recognizing how long we've been unjust.
Absolutely.
And it's like, how long do we got to keep going to keep getting unjust results? You know what I mean? I mean, and somebody on my show asked me, is there a such thing of, you know, peaceful protest? There is a such thing as a peaceful protest, because we want to go down there. We got a lot of emotion on our heart, and we want to just basically get off our chest. But when we, you know, get opposition, when we get opposed with, you know, physical and violence, that breaks our peacefulness. So that means now we're not as peaceful. So I mean, I just think 2020 Black Lives Matter for me just means continuous effort. We cannot stop.
It don't stop.
You know, I hate to use this term, but we need to keep our foot on their neck, meaning specifically the government, the legislations, you know, the powers that be in this country, because I mean, we tired. And I mean, I don't want to, you know, get you thrown off, you know, your show,
not
but
getting me thrown off.
Yeah,
One of the
I'm
reasons
tired.
why I invite you on the
Yeah,
show
I'm tired,
because
man.
we have
Show him
different
no agenda.
opinions,
Right.
and that you're going to express yourself different from me. So,
I mean,
and you free.
I mean, I've lived here all my life, and DJ can attest to it. When we went to Baloo, I mean, we seen a lot of stuff. And
We
now,
did.
as I've grown up, you know, I got a 6-year-old daughter. My oldest daughter just turned 25 in May. A lot of people don't know that about me, and so, you know, when I say
my
some
guy.
people say I see you change, and I got to stop and think about it, because it's not changed. I just matured. You know, I just see things totally different
That's
now. I
good,
mean,
Kev.
it's good that we got a white man
That's
in the
good,
studio.
Kev.
And I mean, somebody on my show asked me, you know, well, what do you think about, you know, white people saying Black Lives Matter? It should, you know, should they be able to say that? And I was like, well, on one hand, you want white people to stop oppressing us, and on the other hand, you don't want them to be with us. So I'm trying to figure out what it is you want from them. Do you want them to be with us, or do you want them to be against us? So I think 2020 Black Lives Matter movement just means effort. We need to all move in the same direction, man.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good. I'm proud of you, Kev.
So man,
You gotta follow that.
so
was
y'all
good.
I got to come
Six
up behind
man.
that.
What's up, six man?
So let me tell you. So for me, I believe this is like God's plan and very strategic. We started the year off with coronavirus, and what this did for us is it allowed a mass of people to leave their jobs. And one of the biggest reasons why us as blacks would not come together is because the white man had their hand over our neck, because we had to work.
We had to
had to
work.
get to work. But so God, what he did was he put something in the air. He put something in the air for us. And he said that this year is going to be different for y'all. So 2020, it's a year of vision. He says, I see it different. This year going to be different for y'all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle something in the air. And I'm going to allow everything to fall that y'all been putting on. Like, so we've been holding back because of work. We've been holding back because of different things that we're attached to. Because some people wouldn't protest because why? They'll lose their job. I work for the government. I can't do that. Or I work for this. So what happened now is we're in a place where all of the prerequisites to make people afraid, they gone. So now we standing up and saying, guess what? I ain't got nothing to lose. You took my job. I ain't got nothing to lose. Everybody around here is sick. Like, we can't even get health care. So right now, all I can do is stand. That's it. I can't do nothing else. I'm getting unemployment. I'm getting food stamps. All I can do now is stand. Ever since the coronavirus hit, I've been doing nothing but protesting and giving out food. Why? Because that's what time it is. It's no time to go and work and do. No. Right now it's time to give and to stand up for our rights. And we actually have the time to do that. And I'm getting paid to do it. We get paid to do it. I'm getting paid to protest.
I mean, definitely.
So that's why I believe that's one of the biggest things to help us come together. Is why? Because all the other stipulations are gone right now. Everything closed down. Ain't nothing. We can't do nothing. Your boss can't say, "Oh, you're doing overtime this week to make sure you don't get to that protest." and can't nothing get done.
Yeah.
So now we available and we standing up and we rising together. I love it.
Love it. You got something to add to that?
Yeah, it's not much I can really say. I mean, y'all did a great job of explaining what's going on right now. But I just want to say that everything that's happening in 2020, like, I'm tired of repeating history. You know, 2020 started off with Kobe Bryant dying, COVID-19. Everybody was already upset about their year being, like, messed up already. So now you talk about some racism coming into play. We tired of that. We not about to keep repeating history. So we got to put it into it, you know. Thank God for social media, because we can see what's going on now.
We policing the police. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
We are now, as a people, policing the police.
Exactly.
And I'm just leading into the next question, okay? And so, meaning that is, as black men, because again, today is about you. As black men, I just posted it online last night. I try to post. I try not to be so negative, but I want to keep my people and us informed. So I posted an officer pulled the black guy over and just for a missed signal. He didn't turn the signal on. But when he approached the car, he had his gun out. But again, we are at a point where we're policing the police. So he had his phone out, he recording it. He just like, oh, officer, I've never been arrested. I have a kid. I have 3 kids at home. So it was just really, really powerful. I did send it into the show because I kind of wanted us to watch it. But again, how do you feel? The question is, leading up, how is it for you guys as men? And even black officers. I'm throwing all of this out at once because there's so many of us. And I do feel like as black officers, I try to get a police officer here from MPD too. Shout out to the MPD. But how do you feel? We talking police reform. We talking, I feel like black police officers, I feel like it should be some type of sympathy there. Because yes, we black, but we still people. Like, I've never been in trouble, but I'm scared of the police. Period. Like, they get behind me, I still cringe a little bit. And I'm legit. So talk about your experiences with police officers and do you have one of those type of stories that?
So let me start off with that one. So I just moved here from Tampa, Florida, and where I live, I have never in my life seen an officer that looked like me, ever in my life. And I'm 27 years old. Never in my life have I seen an officer that looked like me. Never. A man with a beard, that's 6'3" with a beard. I've never seen a police officer ever with a beard that's a black man that look like me. Never. So I said that to say, when I moved here and I saw a black officer, my life changed. I wasn't afraid anymore.
So okay.
I was not afraid anymore. I have to be honest. I was not. I've never been pulled over since I've been here. But when I'm in Florida, now I'm an educator, I'm an entrepreneur, I've never been in trouble. And when I'm in Florida, I'm afraid that I'm going to jail and I'm going to die. I'm afraid. It's always, I'm scared.
Is he bashing Florida?
No, let me
say that. So I'm just going to say that. Because the reason why I can say that is because The reason why I can say that because the police department in
showing
Florida,
that.
they police us. Black people police black people.
No, but let me tell you this though.
that's-
Hold
I'm
up.
just telling you, I've never seen that though.
You know what? Let me get this for you. Let me get this for you because I know Kevin, right? I'm putting him on the spot because my opinion, real quick, because I feel like sometimes, and I've been here all my life. I'm born and raised Southeast Washington. Sometimes the black officers are even
Nasty.
more harder than the white officers. So, and I'm saying that to say that who has a different opinion?
Let me talk on that before
Because they are.
before six
Yes.
man
They already got you in handcuffs.
But let me tell you this though, that is so true. Black officer experience for a black man can be a little harsher. But guess what? I've never doubted would I walk away alive, and I always told him that.
Wow.
You
Listen,
might
no.
walk away beat up.
I never doubted that. B. I may walk away with.
I'm not a black man.
Let me tell you this. You say a black man.
Mm-hmm.
I may walk away with $1,500 worth of tickets because they petty. And guess what? I'm talking to you as a black man, this and that. But I've never ever feared that a police from PG or DC was going to shoot me. When a white man pulled me up, and it's no offense, pulled me over, guess what? I don't reach for them. They'll tell you. My people tell me. I've gotten pulled over. I said, listen, my registration right there, I'm not reaching for it. You're welcome to get it yourself. He said, well, I'm going to give you $250 ticket. I said, at least I'll be allowed to pay it. Can you get it yourself? I'm not reaching for it. My hands are right here and I'm recording. I'm not doing it. But a black man, we'll go back and forth like grown men. And guess what? I'm going to lose because I'm going to have to go to court. I'm going to pay some fine, but guess what? I'm going to be allowed to do it.
Yeah.
So and I've never ever. And
So
the
with that
sad
perspective-
reality is about it is, guess what? It's what happens. What do I think all white officers are bad? No, I do not. But that's what the stigma we have. I have to be alive before I go home. Guess what? So I can pay these tickets. But black people, they're harsher. But guess what? I'll be alive.
So with that being said, that's my feeling was
Yeah.
I'm afraid that I'm going to die in Florida. And be honest, because even here, seeing black people police black people, I'm all for that. I've never seen it. So for me, from my perspective,
Yeah,
I
it's different.
look at officer and say, "What's up, officer? I'm sorry." My attitude would be different. I wouldn't be, "Yes, sir," and my head down and afraid. So that's me. It's just a difference for me. Yes, sir.
Now, I do believe, I may be mistaken, that my brother come from Tampa, Florida.
You do too.
Where I live. So, however,
Right.
we have many African American police officers
I said
in
with
Tampa
the- I said
and
with the
Hillsborough
beard.
County.
I said with the beard.
But it's a system
It is.
that we're fighting.
That part.
And
Yes.
we cannot
I know it.
forget that, understanding that just because you're a black officer does not mean that you're not part of the white system. And that's why you have black officers just as nasty with the black man than they are with anybody else. I've seen black officers nice to white people
Yeah.
before they're more nice to their own.
Talk about it.
We're fighting a system of it's a brotherhood. And police has a brotherhood. I was campaigning in 2018 in Tampa, and while I was campaigning, there are certain prominent areas, as you'll call the white people area. I was knocking on the doors, just doing what you canvass and giving literature. And it was a report that I was breaking in houses. Now, instantly, you had 6 police cars jumping on sidewalks, pulling out guns, and they all wasn't white.
Of course.
And so, therefore, what it looked like is in July of 2013, these 3 individuals created the Black Lives Matter movement to directly target police brutality. And understand that if you don't interrupt the system of what the culture of policing look like, it don't discriminate when it comes down to race. It's a system that they're all pledged into, because black officers will stand there and let a white mistreat you just like and act like they don't know. And so my fear is, until we learn to interrupt the system and stop policing, as you said, police the police, you're not safe in this climate in no hands until we keep pushing for policies to be changed with how they police communities, period. Because you can't just no longer take black people and throw them in the black community and think that's okay.
No.
Because the black police is policing black people as if they're criminals. So it doesn't still change the fact, because oftentimes black people get to a place and forget where they came from.
That's right.
So we have to be real reality of understanding that until we completely drop those barriers and put up walls with how they can handle people, we're going to have a problem.
I think we're starting to see that too. You know, like I know New York is in the process, or they just passed, what was it, the Amy Cooper law, making it a crime to call 911 on somebody just for being black. Like that, just for making up a story about why they're calling the police. You know, that she was in a park. Somebody was asked her to put her dog on a leash, and all of a sudden it
She
became
almost killed the
issue.
dog.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's so stuff like
he
that, and we're
just
starting to
lost
see
bird.
that change. Absolutely.
Yeah. The
Six man? My man.
So again, I don't hate to burst y'all bubble, but I got a different perspective with this.
Of course you do.
So,
That's why I love you.
you know, one of the questions that I like to ask people is, and I think it's one of the main questions at this point, and I'm just using it as a point of reference for a mindset. Do black lives matter to black people? Because for so many years we've been killing each other, and so we might be putting a mindset out there that if they killing each other, why should we care about them?
We know
Why
that.
can't we treat them the way they treating each other? We should be able to get, away with that. You know what I mean? So I want to hold, the police officers and our local governments accountable, but I want to also hold us as people accountable as well. I mean, you cannot automatically think that you're going to get a certain amount of respect from the officer if you're disrespecting him. And I get the fact that, you don't like the officer per se, but again, we're looking at an individual with a certain amount of authority. We're not talking about the person, Officer Jones, or Robert Jones, if that's his name. We're looking at Officer Jones at this point. So if I get pulled over, whether I got to bite my tongue, and it's bad, and it's not a good feeling that I got to bite my tongue, or I can't, feel like I can speak what I need to speak when I want to talk to the officer. But at the end of the day, I got to bite my tongue. Is it messed up? Yeah, but we all have to. I mean, when we talking to each other on the street and we call each other nigga and we disrespect our females, when other coaches see that, when other races see that, they say that, and we hear them say that, guess what we do? Man, you can't say that. You ain't black. So does us being black, does it matter to us that we're killing each other? I mean, we just had another shooting.
That was just about to say.
We just had another shooting. Mr. Rashad Brooks just had another. And I mean, I'm not okay with what he did and how he he was a little intoxicated from what I hear, but I still don't feel like the altercation needed to end up with him dying. Because I heard 3 gunshots. We don't really see what happened, but 3 gunshots to me means I'm hurt. 1 gunshot, I'm hurt. 2 gunshots, I'm really hurt. 3 gunshots, I'm close.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like at the end of the day, we have to care about each other. That's where it starts in my mind.
1 second before you go. I want to touch on this real quick about us caring and loving on us as a race and as a black man, because again, this is about you. We just had a shooting. I thought he was touching on that. Where and it reminds me of Micaiah Wilson. Shout out to the Micaiah Wilson family. It's been 2-3 years now since she's lost her life due to gun violence. But if you're not familiar with that story, it was basically they got out the car and they was popping like they were in a war, right? Was it 2 days ago? Because I don't really watch the news that much, so that's why I have shout out to Mike Clark. He's helping me a lot because I'm all about mindset. But it was 2 days ago where it was almost like deja vu. I mean, they on Bruce Place. I mean, pop. I mean, there's 20 of them, and they just disregard of.
But they look stupid.
Everybody outside, disregard of their own people, their own kids, their own moms, their own dads. We're seeing it too much. Shout out to Murder Free DC. But I'm saying that to say that when are we truly going to represent who we are as a people?
No, I get that. I get that. But why is it that black people, everybody can look at black people's statistics and say, okay, black people kill black people. Nobody says white people kill white people, Chinese kill Chinese people. Why is it that we have to look at our statistics and because we on a chopping block? That's not fair to us. No, what we talking about is treating us right.
Well, what I would say is this though too, bro. Just keep in mind, you can't keep worrying about what other people say about us. Go do your own statistics and your research. If you go on the internet, if you go in a white neighborhood, there's white on on white crime. If you go to a
Correct.
Latino
That's the
neighborhood,
norm.
there's
You make the
Latino
point,
and
though,
Latino.
Cam.
So
That's norm.
to me, I just feel like there is a narrative being pushed out there for this skin tone to be the worst people on the planet, and that's not the case.
That's right.
So if you do your own research,
We are not the
But-
worst.
but let me-
you know,
let me say
violence
this.
is
Let-
the
So what I'm
same
saying is,
people.
Let
we're
me
not
say
the
this.
worst, but what we need to do is, but we can find ourselves talking like that, well, talking about us caring about each other when the focus is on y'all.
Correct.
Stop caring about
But,
us.
but, listen, but
Nothing else.
two things, and I promise I won't say enough all night. Again, I promise you, B. Two things. First of all, I understand everything that the narrative is. Okay, black people killing black people. Do Black Lives Matter? This. Oh, the police say, okay, you killing each other. Blue lives. This. Guess what? Everything you're saying about that is correct. I'm not refuting it. I'm not fighting it. Everything you said about black killing black, this person killed that, you're 100% correct. But can I hear you say that Black Lives Matter? That's the problem. We're not saying you're wrong, but can you at least say to me that Black Lives Matter, and then go and say that? I was talking to a police officer who's my friend. I won't even name him. He gave me all these statistics verbatim, 5 things, and each time before he said one, blah 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 blah, I said, okay, you're right, but do Black Lives Matter? No, 2, blah blah blah. Okay, do Black Lives Matter? 3. He never could gather himself to say Black Lives Matter. Can you? I get that. You're
What
right.
officer
but
was
can
this?
You, let me one more thing, Kev. One more thing, Kev. It's Black,
officer
can you
was this?
can you at least say Black Lives Matter to me? I get what you're saying. The Black Lives Matter. Last thing I would say, and I'm done. Y'all can have the show. Trust me. Listen, I've been here 3 weeks ago. Listen, last thing I would say is, guess what? Listen, when your house is on fire, B, your house is on fire. You call the fire department. The fire department come. He stopped spraying your house, your neighbor's house, your other neighbor's house, this neighbor's house, this neighbor's house, this neighbor's house. You know why? Because all houses matter. All houses matter. That's stupid. Right now, your house is on fire. Right now, black people's house is on fire. So we're dealing with black people.
That's it.
That's it.
Have a good day.
That's it.
I'm gonna get some water. I gotta use the restroom.
And when we start
Can I go to the
talking,
restroom?
again I bought
No.
and again I bought when we said July
Yeah.
13th,
All-
2013.
all houses matter, though.
It was 3 individuals that thought that made up their mind that they've had enough.
Move down, we got.
They had enough of police brutality. So they got together, and what they decided to do is create Black Lives Matter movement. And when they created that movement for the purpose to stop and to bring awareness of police officers, how they're handling people, black African Americans. If we want to talk about black on black crime and we want to talk about how black people are treating black people, start a movement. Start your own movement. This is Black Lives Matter movement. And we are looking for one thing, and that's justice for officers that take an oath to make sure that the oath that they take, they treat black people as humans and not animals. How black on black crimes deal with, I'm all for a movement. Let's start one. Who want to march for black on black crimes? Get out there, march, start your paperwork, get a movement, but don't have the audacity to kill somebody else's work and their effort. This is a Black Lives Matter movement, and it's solely for one purpose: police brutality. Anything else, it's a waste of conversation. Because it's Black Lives Matter. Talking to police is only. So George Floyd was killed by a police officer. A knee on his neck. So that's why we can't get anything done. You can't get any bills passed. You can't make the Caucasians in high places in political office change bills or laws because it's too much people watering it down, making it, well, we kill one another, we killed it. Listen, that ain't gonna change, but what we will say at the end of the day, it's statistics that shows you typically commit crimes around the area which you live in. Majority of these people you give us no opportunities. These people killing each other for survival. Give them jobs, give them businesses, give them opportunity, give them a way out of life, and then let's talk about what the statistics look like. But don't give them nothing and talk about the statistics that they're killing each other.
Okay.
Well, I'll touch on this a little bit.
Okay.
I hear that a lot. Whenever you come from a diverse background, right? You got white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, all different kinds of people from different backgrounds. One of the most popular things that I hear whenever I post something about Black Lives Matter or police brutality or whatever it might be is, black on black crime, right? And some of these folks are people that work in law enforcement. And my question is, if you care about it that much, why are you bringing it up when we're talking about Black Lives Matter? When we're talking about these issues, you want to sidestep what we're talking about and look at something else. And to this day, I never get a reply back. Because as soon as you pose that question, they go silent, they go offline, they don't want to have that conversation anymore, and it's problematic. I actually know a lot of people that work in law enforcement. They might be black, they might be white, they might be different backgrounds, right? But at the end of the day, those same people look at what they do as their job, their career. They take it very seriously. And I think one of the biggest problems is that law enforcement officers, the vast majority of them, refuse to recognize the bad apples within the bunch. And I hear it said time and time again, policing and law enforcement is not an area in which you can have bad apples in a bunch. You have to have a clean record. It's like comparing it to airlines. If you had pilots that decided, hey, I don't want to do my job fully today, they're going to crash an airline, they're going to crash a plane and kill hundreds of lives. They're going to take people's lives away unnecessarily. And so that argument to me is just not valid. And when you look at it, yeah, I think it's 90% of crime or is black on black. Sure, and then when you look at white on white crime, it's about 86%. The statistics are there and they're about even. So it's just sad to me to see that. But I think one of the biggest things that we need to encourage, and maybe this is a movement to get behind, is getting police on the same page, right? We need police to condemn this. We need police to say, this is not okay. We cannot treat Americans like this. Because this whole concept of black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever your cultural background is, we're all Americans at the end.
We've all shown, especially in the recent.
Let me read this real quick. A white man was drunk in another state, and the police got to his car and offered him a ride home. Made sure he got home safe. So there was a black man in Atlanta that was drunk, and he did. It's a big difference.
And so let me also say this: that a lot of people talk about Blue Lives Matter, and what about the cops? I got to say this about that: it's a choice. You chose to be a cop. You can leave and clock out and take your uniform off and go to bed. I can't not be black tomorrow. I can't clock out of being black. I can't do that. I can't clock out. So it's a job. Blue lives don't matter because guess what? What behind that blue, it's another color. It's black, Asian, Indian. It's a whole nother. Blue is not even a color. Black lives matter. Why? It's because we the one that's on the chopping block. It's us. We can't take it off. And it's a career.
I would jump in on there too, and I will say, you mentioned something also earlier. You said you don't really have any friends that are white, right?
I don't.
And I
want it.
I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying I had this conversation with somebody recently, and it was, that's a problem in and of itself, right? Because the only way that we can change and understand each other is by learning other people's cultures, right? Because black culture, beautiful culture, I love it. I feel like I'm a part of black culture in some ways. My kids are going to be mixed race kids. They will be growing up in a culture that they understand that they're part white and they're part black, right? And how do you deal with that? But by opening yourself up to having friends from different backgrounds, in order to have a true friend and somebody that is of a different culture than you, you have to learn about their culture, even just a little bit, right?
Okay.
Because you're not going to know why they do certain things unless you're actually open to it and understanding it. And it doesn't matter if it's black, white, Hispanic, whatever culture it might be.
I want to touch on that since you brought me into it. I was raised, in Southeast, and we were raised, to almost be scared of the white police, the white people, and not to trust them, and we were taught that, it was scary. We saw that when we watched history, and I still, at my age, I'm not telling you, I have not broke that. I'm not gonna say I haven't broke that mindset, but it's always, I've never dated out my race, I've never, I've worked around different cultures, but I have never broke that barrier of trust. So
it's a challenge. It really is.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah. So for you to do that, and I don't know too much about interracial dating, but it's hard because you feel. I feel like, how do I connect with someone that is so different from me?
Can I share something with you on that?
Yes.
So I
we
was grown
switching
up
it.
in a very, very similar background. I grew up in a prejudiced household, you know, and it's one of those things that you're taught a certain way, like, don't trust the white people, right? Okay, don't trust the black people, right? Okay, when we're driving through a neighborhood, I grew up in a very poor part of St. Louis, right? And we were the minority in the neighborhood. We were among the minority, right? It was predominantly black neighborhoods that we lived in. Lock the doors when there's people outside. Little stuff like that. And it's not even that you realize it's a prejudice. Yeah, maybe it's a safety thing, but it wouldn't be the same thing if it was a white person outside.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's a lot of this implicit bias that I think we all grow up with, that we all have to say, okay, look, this is not right. I can't feel this way about people from another culture just because. I have to go out and I have to consciously make that decision and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I gotta look. And in my business, I'm guilty of this. It wasn't even something I realized up until recently. Ty, you said you're an electrician, right? So this is something that I've actually been in tune with. Most of the contractors that I work with in real estate are predominantly white, right? All the people that I associate with, and this is partly because I got connections from other people who had already built them, right? But it's taking that step out and saying, well, you have to make a conscious effort to be inclusive in what you're doing, and to have contractors from different backgrounds, you know, whether it's black, white, Hispanic, whatever, and make that intentional effort to include people. And I think a lot of corporate America is starting to get that, and that's taking place in 2020.
When we get white people to tell white people, you need to treat black people right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you
Six man.
said, yeah, definitely. It's all both ways. It's more in the forefront now, and
I just wanted to touch on that because you know, when I grew up, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I did grow up in Southeast. I was born in Greater Southeast Community Hospital. But when my mother wanted to try to make a change and didn't necessarily want us to stay in Southeast, we went and moved in Laurel, Maryland for about 4.5 years. And so my brother went to a predominantly white school. All of our neighbors were white. We had a white babysitter. She took us in as her family. Her husband's name was George. Her name was Pat. Her son's name was Brad. Even though we had two different colored skin, they did not treat me or my brother any different. So I wanted to interject when you say you were taught to not like the white people. I wasn't brought up that way.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a way where, you know, this is right, that's wrong, regardless what color it is, and that's how I was brought up.
That's good for you, but you know, it's really truly about, you know, my perception.
No, listen, no, I'm still going though. So when I moved back to Southeast, it wasn't no white people.
Yeah,
it was just us.
Oh,
so it wasn't no you had to tell me not to deal with white people. If they came in our neighborhood, something wasn't right anyway. And 9 times out of 10, if we seen them, they either had the alphabet letters on or they was looking for somebody. So automatically, it didn't have to be taught to me not to, excuse my French, mess with the police or mess with white people. Yeah, he don't look right. What are you doing in our neighborhood? So in my mind, it wasn't something that my mother told me. It was a street instinct. Not, the dude right here walking right here with that hat, leave him alone. So, I mean, it is different ways people have been raised, but I just feel like at the end of the day, you know, if all of us go out on the street right now and fall and hit the curb and break our arm or break our skin, we all gonna bleed one color.
One color. So, and that's okay. So I'm rounding it in, guys, and trust me, I think I may do this like once a month because, like Kevin said, it's not about doing it this one time. It's just about showing consistency. Right. And I'm so in tune to just all of you guys' perspective. I'm intrigued. Like I want you alone, you know, like one by one. But I'm saying that because I'm wrapping it up, right? I'm willing it in, right? And so one thing I want to say, just like we salute our Martin Luther King, our Malcolm X, and all those people in history that has impacted us, I want to take just 1 minute and salute George Floyd. That's right. Because guess what? We are now in the movement where we all are one. 2020, the year of vision, okay? Because we all see the same vision. So let's take at least 10 seconds of a moment of silence. Salute to George Floyd. Thank you so much. all of you guys, really, people I'm meeting for the first time. Thank you so much. I mean, I want to say, just.
You got a friend now, white friend.
You understand?
Yeah.
Look, I got it. Look. Hey, look, hold on. I'm gonna do this today. Hey, white feet, look, white feet.
You coming to the cookout?
You gotta share him. You gotta share him because I really don't.
You gonna be at the cookout?
And I'm a great friend to have, you know. And I'm excited to welcome you because one thing I can say, once you truly come into the studio and feel the energy and feel the love, because one thing that I do is operate out of love. This show is about motivation, inspiration, and inspiring all people that know that we can be great no matter where we're from. So thank you. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, maybe this is starting something for me. This is the conversation that I want to continue. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited. Ladies, we have a tough time to follow, guys. You guys held it down. I'm excited to welcome the women next week. I don't know who they gonna end up being, right? But I do know the Mrs. Venable is gonna be in the studio with me next week. I'm gonna send home with you a Buzy With B sweatsuit. Ladies, you guys have been representing the Buzy With B brand so much. I'm so excited. Guys, you better make sure you take them glow in the dark bracelets and represent. Okay? Thank you guys so much. This will be a continuance of a conversation. This will go on. I think I'm gonna do it once a month, and I'm gonna welcome like Dave. He had to come back. Buzy With B got that come back. Okay, you're coming back to the Buzy With B show. We gonna collab and do great things together. Watch out. Yeah. You're going to come back and do your thing on the Buzy With B show. I'm so excited. Guys, watch out for everything that I have up and coming. Buzy With B, Busy Being Beautiful, the nonprofit. Guys, go to busywithb.org. Check out everything that I have there, the sweatsuits, the donation button. Everything will be up next week, as soon as next week, guys. I want to do great things in the community. I'm so grateful to partner with some of these great guys on this panel list. They don't even know. Because we're going to do some great things. But Black Lives Matter to all of us. And I'm grateful. Each and every Monday, right here, Listen Vision Studios, you can find your girl Buzy With B. See you next week.
Getting busy with B, getting busy with B. She too busy being beautiful, it's busy to be. We busy being busy, baby, that's the way it should be.
I tune into my station, baby, and get busy with B.
Getting busy with B, getting busy with B. We busy being brilliant, breaking down your issues with B. The best of being busy, baby, that's the way it should be.
I tune into my station, baby, and get busy with B.
What we talk about, we